what's going on? Welcome back to Ed Speaks. New episode, back to the original format. I know I haven't posted like a vlog in a while. Just because we were away, it's hard for me to do those kind of videos when I'm away. It's easier for me just to do the filming, taking the pictures, and then making just kind of like a montage video of everything that has happened over the last week. So that's basically what I've been doing. But now that I'm back, we can get back to the normal-ish vlogs. So we started last week, drove down last Thursday to Atlantic City for Logan's karate tournament. And Friday night they had their demo performances. No, not Friday night. Friday morning they had their demo performances. I registered. They performed twice. Once in NASCA, which is the North American Sport Karate Association, I believe. And then the second time they did it just against the other Amerikick schools. And they didn't do as well as they have in years past. And the kids were all bummed. You can just kind of, like, nobody said it, but you can kind of just tell from their body language. I think they came in 5th in NASCA or 6th in NASCA, 5th in the Amerikick division. And yeah, like I said, they were just kind of bummed about it. 5 of the kids, including Logan, are brand new to the team. This is the first time they've ever competed as a team. And they're also young. Like, Logan's a red belt. He's going to be moving to a black belt hopefully in a few months. And some of the other kids are brown belts. So they're a very young team. Very young and inexperienced team. So it's not surprising that what happened when you're going against other teams that have all black belts and seem like they're older and have a lot more training. So, you know, it's just an experience factor at this point. So, you know, just trying to bring all their spirits up, and, you know, they just kind of have to look at the bigger picture. So, moving onward, I think they're going to be really good in the future once everybody gets up to speed. And, yeah, so I think that'll be pretty awesome. So then Saturday, Logan had all his individual tournaments. We had his weapons, his forms, and his sparring. And sparring, he ended up coming in 3rd, and his forms, he ended up coming in 4th. I think there was like 7 or 8 kids in sparring. I think there was 12 in forms, and I think 12 or 13 in weapons. And the forms went well. He did the best he could do. He did his best. He ended up coming in 4th in forms. He had 3rd in sparring. Well, technically tied for 3rd. They didn't do a 3rd place match. I don't know why they didn't do a 3rd place match, but they gave him both 3rd place. So then in weapons, I was thinking he would have gotten 3rd or 4th. He ended up coming in 8th. And at the end, it's because he dropped his toss that he was working on, and it hit his hand, and it came out of his hand and it hit the ground, unfortunately. So he ended up coming in 8th out of 12 or 13, whatever it was. And when he was standing back there, you could kind of look on his face like he was disappointed. He was upset, like he wished he would have caught that. So he had to watch all the other kids perform, and then ended up getting his placement, which was 8th. Which I didn't think he was going to place so low, even with his drop, because he was a lot cleaner than some of the other kids. But some of the other kids didn't even have any tosses, so they didn't drop anything. So they placed higher than him, which I completely understand that. And even when he was getting his his placement, like he wasn't, you could tell on his face like he was disappointed and a little upset. Like you could just see it on his face. Like he didn't, like you could just tell, like we know Logan, and like we knew what he felt on the inside. And then he came over after, and you know, we told him we were proud of him, and he went out and did his best. And stuff like this happens, and don't let it upset you. And he came over and he hugged Marie, and he instantly just started shedding tears and crying, and he was really upset because he worked really hard on his form. Like he created it himself. It was his first form he's ever created, and he worked really hard on making it, and he had help with his sensei on it to try to perfect it. And you know, it just didn't work out this time, and he was really disappointed in himself, and he was really upset. Like I said, he was in tears, and it was probably the most heartbreaking thing I've seen with him. And there was nothing we could really do except tell him that we were proud of him. And you kind of just got to keep moving forward, because, you know, kind of have a short-term memory. His weapons was actually his first thing that he did in the day. And then he had forms, and they had sparring after, so he had to, you know, get it all out of his system and focus on his forms, because that was coming up soon. I think in like the next half hour or so. So, you know, he just had to release and get that out. You know, beforehand he was definitely nervous. If you saw the video, spending a lot of time by himself, just not around anybody. Like, just, you could see it. Like he was nervous. Never been on a stage like this before. Never competed against so many people before. And you could just tell he was nervous, and he was just trying to process it. So we weren't bothering him. Like he wanted to go off and do his own thing, and we just let him do it. And then, you know, sitting there supporting everybody else from the school that were competing, and watching them and supporting them. But yeah, so I said it was hard to watch when he got really upset after he came off and hugged Marie. It was a difficult thing to watch, because you never want your children to deal with that. But I think, you know, it being his first time, he knows now, you know, since it was his first time competing on a national level, on a stage so big with so many other people, like, it gives him perspective, and he knows what his expectations are. I think he thought maybe he could coast a little bit, kind of like he does with the more regional competitions, because they're a lot smaller. You don't compete against that many people. So I think next year when we go back, he's gonna really get psyched up and go kind of hardcore about it. And he'll be a black belt too, so that'll be interesting to see. And yeah, I'm excited to see what he does next year, because I told him next year, and he agreed with me. He wants to compete also on the NASCA circuit for individuals as well, so go against people from outside the Amerikick bubble, and, you know, compare himself to other people outside of Amerikick. So I think that would be really good for him. So it'll be an exciting year. Now tomorrow we start black belt prep, tomorrow morning, and then we start focusing on that. Next regional tournament is in October, so we have that to look forward to. And then a couple weeks after the next tournament, he has his fitness test for his black belt, and then we kind of go balls to the wall and get ready for his black belt test, because he has a black belt test December 8th, and then he has this last regional tournament of the year, December 1st, so a week before. So he has a lot of stuff coming up very quickly all at the same time. So on top of all his individual stuff, demo team still has stuff to do. They're going to be competing at those regional tournaments. And then he has his black belt testing, physical fitness tests, his actual black belt test with sparring, and everything else that goes into it, all his katas, all his self-defenses. There's a lot to do in the next 4 months, or 3.5 months, 4 months, whatever it is. It's going to be a busy fall and a busy beginning to winter for the rest of 2024. So hopefully we go from there and onward and upward, as they say. So that is the karate update with everything.